in our own John Henson for more as our post-game coverage begins here on CBS Sports HQ. John, let's start with your biggest takeaway from today's game.
I think the Raptors' resilience. They were down, they kept fighting, they kept punching. And I've played a playoff series in Toronto, one of the loudest places I've ever played in. So that crowd is going to give you the juice. Scottie Barnes comes in kind of with a masterful performance. He kind of manipulated the game, made the right plays, didn't shoot great from the field, but he started them rolling. R.J. Barrett comes in with 18. Brandon Ingram, not a great percentage from the field, but I loved his aggression. He didn't stop shooting. He had 23 points. And Colin Murray-Boas, the rookie off the bench, 15 and 10. Just a masterful performance in a must-win spot kind of for the Raptors, because you definitely won't go back home to Cleveland or go back to Cleveland down 3-1. You would be in a tough spot if that was the case. Now it's 2-2. Look, we're back to kind of solid ground. Both teams kind of stole one at home. So here we go.
Yeah, it certainly has felt like that. Adding in that they've had an answer for Donovan Mitchell in particular, who's really struggled away from home. What's your concern level with him moving forward? And really, what are you seeing from this Raptors defense that's giving him problems?
Well, it kind of reminds me of a situation when I played with Giannis, kind of in his. He thought, hey, look, I'm the man. I'm going to try to take us and put the team on our back. Donovan Mitchell just has to trust his teammates to make the right play. We saw it at the end of the game. He didn't necessarily need to take that shot. He didn't have to take that three-point shot that kind of lost him the game. He could have moved the ball, got a better shot, or got someone else open. Donovan Mitchell is a great playoff player. He has all these stats, averages so many points. But right now, the Raptors are saying, look, we're going to throw this coverage at you. It's going to kind of be a token double. We're going to stay late, and we're going to make you pass it. Donovan Mitchell just has to make the right play every single time, and he hasn't been doing that, and then he has to force the offense, and it kind of snowballs into now what you see, a 4-point loss when you guys were up for the most part down the stretch.
Yeah, Toronto has now evened this series. It's interesting, the home team has won every game in this series. So with that being said, who will be the first team, you think, to steal a game on the road?
I'm going to probably go Cleveland. I played in Cleveland also as well, so I've been there as well for the playoffs. I've seen both arenas in playoff moments, and they're tough spots to play in. Listen, Cleveland was selling out the arenas when we had a top 5 pick. So during the playoffs, I'll never forget, it was so loud one time when I just went to observe a game. I actually left. It was too much going on. So I think Cleveland will have to win this series. Cleveland's going to have to go on the road and win a game.
All right, we'll leave that there. I thought it was really interesting. I had to do a double take, John. I don't know about you. At the end of the first quarter, it was 17-14. At the end of the first quarter, were you surprised with just how low scoring this one in particular was?
I wasn't surprised. Cleveland's a really good defensive team with Mobley and Allen, and then you've got Ingram, Barrett, Barnes, Podol, Jacoby Walter. These are all plus defenders. So it's kind of a rock fight. Shots weren't going in. And, game 4, you're sitting on everything. You know everybody's moves. You know your opponent's move. You know what they want to run. So that was kind of the epitome of the first quarter, even the whole game. No one cracked 100. Because right now, look, everyone's just sitting on what everyone is doing, and you just have to figure out how to win that war of attrition, and Toronto did that today.
All right, let's get your final thoughts on the rest of this series.
Yeah, I think for Cleveland, it's been like this for years, right? They kind of struggle in the playoffs. They find ways to win, but it doesn't look pretty. I think you've got to ponder a lineup change. You can't be scared to hurt people's feelings. I think Cleveland needs to go small. Start Mobley at the 5, bring Allen off the bench. I know he's making all that money and feelings are going to get hurt, but if you want to win, you have to be willing to change and do things differently if it's not working. I don't think the 2 big lineup is working. They've struggled. And so I kind of look back on the Rudy Gobert situation 2-3 years ago where he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter. He wasn't getting many minutes in one series. It was just one series, but people made a big deal of it, but that's coaching. So I think if you're Cleveland, you've got to start pondering some lineup switches and change, maybe go small to counter kind of what Raptors are doing by going small, having Barnes at the 4 and Murray-Boas at the 5.
We'll see if any adjustments are made soon enough. John Henson joining us here live on CBS Sports HQ, our post-game coverage. Always great to see you, my friend. Simply the best as Toronto evens this series at 2 apiece. And we're headed back.
Just in out of the NBA, where the league office is investigating the altercation at the end of Saturday's Game 4 between the Nuggets and Timberwolves. That is according to ESPN. The fight started after Timberwolves forward Jaden McDaniels decided to score an uncontested layup with 1.3 seconds left in the game, with Minnesota nearly up 20 at that point. Nuggets star Nikola Jokic and McDaniels were at the center of that clash, which started near the Timberwolves bench. Fines and suspensions, if necessary, are expected to be handed out before Game 5 on Monday in Denver. This is the series schedule. Once again, that Game 5 coming on Monday, and if necessary, Game 6 Thursday and Game 7 Saturday from Denver. Let's get you your headlines here on HQ. Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards is expected to miss multiple weeks with a knee injury. That is according to ESPN. He suffered a bone bruise after hyperextending his left knee during Saturday's Game 4 win against the Nuggets. ESPN reports that Edwards avoided ligament damage in his knee, but will still miss several weeks as a result of this injury. Speaking of the Timberwolves, Donte DiVincenzo suffered a torn Achilles during Saturday's Game 4 win against the Nuggets. That is according to ESPN. That injury will knock him out for the remainder of the playoffs and affect his status for the start of next season. DiVincenzo was averaging just over 14 points in Minnesota's first 3 games prior to the injury. Spurs star Victor Wembanyama remains questionable for today's tilt in Portland. He's still in concussion protocol and missed Friday's Game 3 win. Joel Embiid is doubtful against the Celtics. He's still yet to play in the postseason after undergoing an appendix. Let's welcome on our NBA analyst, John Henson, and I just said it, Anthony Edwards out for weeks. So what does this do to Minnesota's outlook in this series and really going forward if they're able to win this series?
Well, it helps being up 3-1, so they may have some room to kind of, give per se, but Anthony Edwards going out with that injury just lowers their ceiling. They can't make as many mistakes. Although they did play really well down the stretch, Denver's going to prepare. Denver's going to be ready for them the next game. But I was just more impressed with their defense. When you have the lineup that they had with McDaniels, Randall, Ayo Dosunmu, Naz Reid, Bones Highland, those guys, that's a pretty good defensive lineup, and it showed. The Nuggets struggled down the stretch. I've never seen Jokic get so frustrated. He's usually an even-keeled guy. He went over there to kind of rope up McDaniels. So, look, Anthony Edwards being out and Donte DiVincenzo going to hurt them. They will not be as good. But they're up 3-1, and I think this is a team that can escape this series and potentially get Ant back next. I've had a bone bruise before. One of the more painful injuries, tough to really play through because the fluid fills up in your knee and you're bone on bone. Every time your bones touch each other, it hurts because there's a bruise there. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he takes. But right now, Minnesota is in the driver's seat. Hopefully they can hold on while he recovers.
Yuck. I'm sorry you dealt with that. That does not sound enjoyable, but
yeah,
hopefully.
It's a painful injury, but